Hey, what up everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you with a tear in my eye. I was just about halfway through this video and I think I swallowed a leaf or something like that. It was bad. I was coughing up a storm just a second ago and I have no idea what just happened. But one of the biggest things that people are talking about with Night of Champions 2015 is who the mystery man is going to be for the Shield. Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns going in there with the mystery man, going up against the Wyatts. You got Bray Wyatt, you got Luke Harper, and you got Braun Strowman in this match. And you know, everybody wants to know who is that mystery question mark going to be. Basically, we've seen Randy Orton sort of telling the Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns that, you know, he'd have their back. And then after a match on Monday Night Raw, we saw Randy Orton get dismantled and destroyed. We've also seen, you know, Jimmy Uso going out there, and he's all fired up because he's sort of been held back as an announcer ever since his brother got hurt. And he's at his first match in a long time, and as the match is going on, the Wyatts sort of separate him from the pack, beat him down, and left him laying on SmackDown. We didn't see anybody getting beaten up on Monday Night Raw. We just basically had them, you know, stare down. And, you know, because of this, everybody wants to know, is Randy Orton going to make his return from his beatdown? The beatdown wasn't that bad. We've seen worse. And guys return on SmackDown just the next night, taped for Wednesday and Thursday. So, you know, could Randy Orton come back? A lot of people are thinking that maybe Randy Orton took another one of his illustrious vacations, is not going to be available for Sunday. Some people have gone as far to say that The Rock is going to return, playing off the bloodlines between Roman Reigns and The Rock. And, you know, the Rock showed up at, you know, the Royal Rumble this year. And, you know, they tried to, you know, sort of like, hey, we're together, you know, he's just like me, and things like that. And that really didn't work out. One of the first times in a long time, The Rock has been booed. And I think that, you know, visually upset him. You could see it in his face. He's looking around at the crowd like, what the fuck is going on? So, you know, definitely this could go bad if they don't have the right person. I don't think it's going to be The Rock. Some people think it's going to be Kane. Some people have thrown out the name Daniel Bryan for a return. Daniel Bryan has been on the record just about every interview or podcast or, you know, anywhere he's been able to tell us. He's basically said that by his personal doctor, he's been personally cleared and is ready to wrestle. WWE's personal doctor has basically looked over Daniel Bryan and said, you know, that he's not ready to return. You know, he's out with these concussion-like symptoms, and we're going to have to see, you know, if WWE's ever really going to want to have him wrestle again. There's been a lot of past former wrestlers that either wrestled for WWF back in the day or wrestled in some sort of a fashion of a wrestling ring and have sort of banded together and sort of put a lawsuit out on WWE and Vince McMahon, basically saying that they put them in these work environments that, you know, basically were, if they would have suffered a concussion, they would have been pushed out to wrestle the next night. Nobody was warned about the long-term effects of, you know, what concussions are. You know, we've seen these lawsuits, you know, sort of figured out with the NFL, and there was going on with the NHL and other things like that. But we'll have to see, you know, how they figure this out and where they go from there. But when I think about Daniel Bryan, you know, if they're going to bring him back for, you know, one more big push, is Night of Champions really the time to use him? When you think about Daniel Bryan, Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns, you think about, you know, Daniel Bryan going up against the Shield and being the first member of the WWE in order to get a pinfall over these guys. They ran over everybody, you know, in different six-man matches and other things like that, tag matches, singles matches. They kept on finding a way to get the victory, or they would escape with the count out or disqualification. They just weren't able to be beat, and that's one of the reasons why these guys are all so over, is how protected they were when they came in. It's not like they debuted on the roster. They got, you know, a win on Raw, and then they would do a job on SmackDown, and, you know, they would trade wins back and forth. They were really elevated, and they were able to hold their own as being a, you know, a very hip and you know, it's sort of, you know, I guess you'd say a trending thing in WWE. You know, they were really at the forefront. And then if you also think about Roman Reigns is probably biggest rival in WWE might even be Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan, of course, came back last year from an injury. You know, he had a couple matches against Kane, and then from there he was placed into the Royal Rumble where he wasn't able to get a win. But WWE played off the fact that the fans were booing Roman Reigns. He wasn't the people's pick to go to WrestleMania and fight Brock Lesnar. People wanted to see Daniel Bryan go into there and have a chance to beat Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship, because people think that he is one of the most over and one of the best wrestlers in the world. Daniel Bryan, to me, would have been a great match. It would have been like David versus Goliath right out of the Bible, and you know, having this old story retold of, you know, how is this little guy going to beat Brock Lesnar. People thought that was well, Daniel Bryan has even gone on to say that when he won the main event at WrestleMania 30 to become WWE champion, it was to get to SummerSlam and get killed by Brock Lesnar, which was going to start his, you know, mega push with the championship, which would lead into WrestleMania 31 with probably Roman Reigns even getting the shot to go there. But at Fastlane this year, it was Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns having one hell of a match in the main event for Roman Reigns to keep his Royal Rumble win and move on. It was sort of like a crowning achievement moment. It was WWE's prayer that maybe if Roman Reigns went out there and had a good match with Daniel Bryan, it would help him get over to the fact that people would want to see him win, and it would push WrestleMania 31 to being a more sought-after show where people would want to attend, or people would want to get the network in order to see it, because that is the main goal in what's going down. That is one of the things that sort of tie Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan together, where it would make sense for him to join their team. But Daniel Bryan is also just, you know, fighting to get back into the ring. He's told everyone in the world that he is medically cleared to wrestle. It's just WWE not really letting him get in there. Is WWE, you know, waiting for a better time to use Daniel Bryan? Is there a better time to bring this guy back? Last year he returned before the Rumble, saying that he was going to be in the Rumble and try and go after a WrestleMania 31 main event. Now, I don't really see them bringing him back that way, and I don't really know any other way to bring this guy back. You know, when he went out with an injury the first time, it was, you know, he was having a series of matches against Kane. Kane isn't even really the character that Kane once was. When he suffered the concussion, it was after a match against Sheamus. Sheamus is the guy with the Money in the Bank briefcase, and he is looking for some way to get over with the crowd, the fact that people would want to see him as champion, or people would want to boo him as champion to make him, you know, a real champion in WWE. But do people really want to see Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus? This is a match that we've seen countless times and been rumored to see at different WrestleManias, and nobody's really been that excited for it. I don't know how to bring this guy back. You know, everybody thinks that everybody needs to sort of start their new year fresh with a return at the Royal Rumble, but this is exactly what this guy did last year, and who knows how long this guy is going to hold up. Bret Hart has been on record basically saying that Daniel Bryan will probably never wrestle again for the fact that, you know, he sort of has the same symptoms that Bret Hart had at the end of WCW when Goldberg kicked him in the head. He just never was able to get over the concussion-like symptoms, and nobody wanted to take the risk of getting him into the ring until WrestleMania 26. So maybe if we wait, how many years was it from 26? That was 2010. WCW closed in 2001. So maybe if we wait 9 years, maybe we'll see another Daniel Bryan match. But I don't think Bryan's returning this way at Night of Champions. I think that if you look at last year, the way that they brought Bryan back was sort of, you know, bringing him out there and doing the big, you know, I'm coming out on Raw and I'm going to make a big announcement, and, you know, part of your heart is like, oh no, this is fucking gonna be it, but you have that feeling in your gut, like he's gonna say he's gonna return. That's the things that WWE has always pushed. I think that WWE's gonna keep on continuing, but there's some people out there, cross your fingers, maybe he will be that surprise guy at Night of Champions. It really could be anybody.